I just love musical theatre so much. I've been going to see musicals since I was a teeny tiny child. But something that I've never done is see musical after musical within a few days. So I thought it would be really, really cool to do that. I did 4 musicals in the West End in 4 days, and 3 out of 4 of those I had seen before. So I did Book of Mormon on Monday, then Wicked on the Tuesday, then on the Wednesday I went and I saw Frozen, and then on the Thursday I wrapped things up with Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cinderella. I filmed a little bit at each production, which I'll insert throughout this video, but I wanted to talk through my thoughts on each production and what those kind of productions meant to me, why they were so special. So to start off with Mormon, the Book of Mormon. I have seen the Book of Mormon before, so this was my second time. This was my second time seeing Book of Mormon, and oh my goodness me, if you can go see Book of Mormon, please, please, please go watch it. It is the funniest, I think it's the funniest production I've ever seen. And the actor that plays Elder Price, I think his name, Dom Simpson, I think that's his name, is just absolutely phenomenal. And Elder Cunningham, who's played by Tom Zander, is just out of this world. They are absolutely almost like made for those parts. They are so good. It is hilariously funny. It's got a bit of everything in it. It's super theatrical. There are some really cool dance numbers in there, and it was just such an amazing experience to go see that again. My only complaint at Mormon, and this has nothing to do with obviously the production, it's just more so my experience, is I sat next to a couple who were, how do I put this nicely, who had probably had a bit too much to drink, and who are kind of all over the place, talking, which is such a pet peeve of mine. Like, if you're gonna go to the theatre, please don't talk, because it's distracting for the cast, but then it also ruins it for people who are there who just want to enjoy the show and not hear you fighting over a Colin the Caterpillar suite. So that aside, it was an incredible experience again. It was super funny. The music, the songs are super catchy, so you find yourself kind of bobbing to the songs. And the theatre was really beautiful. I don't know if, I think it was the same theatre. I'm pretty sure it's the same theatre that I went to when I saw it a few years ago. It just looked a lot nicer, so maybe they did like a refurb or something. It was like a lot more, like the seats were really new, everything just looked nicer and like more put together. So that was Mormon. Love it. I would happily go see Mormon again and again because it's just one of those productions that just makes you smile and kind of forget everything that's going on outside of the theatre doors. Highly recommend. If you haven't gone to see Book of Mormon, it's definitely a must. And then my second trip, so Tuesday, I went to the Apollo Theatre to see Wicked. Now, I have seen Wicked 4 times now, I think. I think I've seen it 4 times. And I believe Wicked was the first musical I saw as a child. It was either Wicked or The Lion King, and I forget which one. I don't know, I'll have to ask my mum. But Wicked is one of those musicals that has a very, very special place in my heart. I could go, to be fair, if you took me to a musical every single day, I don't think I would complain. But Wicked is just incredible. The songs are breathtaking, and it was one of the most special nights that I've ever experienced in a theatre, because Lucy Jones made her debut as Elphaba, and I don't think I can put into words what I experienced that evening in the theatre. The audience there was so much love in the audience, and the energy was just like you could tell no one could contain that energy. Everyone was like in their seats, like on the edge of their seats, just waiting and waiting and waiting for the curtain to go up. And it was so emotional when like people were on their feet, they were crying, they were screaming. It was a really, really emotional evening. When Lucy Jones made her entrance as Elphaba, like literally, I heard like this person behind me just lose it completely. When she defied gravity, when she sang the song right before the intermission, everyone was on their feet. I had tears running down my face. It's such an emotional song, and you could tell how much it meant to Lucy Jones, who's performing as Elphaba. And I stood up, everyone was kind of standing. I stood up, really, really emotional, and looked around the theatre, and everyone was in tears and they were holding each other. And it was just such a beautiful experience where I felt really, really connected I was there on my own, and I felt really, really connected to everyone in the audience. And I was like, this is why musical theatre is so special, because in those moments you feel connected to people that you don't know, but you're there and you're sharing this really special moment with people, and just there for the love of theatre and just enjoying the incredible talent in front of you. So that was really, really special. It was so emotional. And then during the curtain call, everyone was on their feet. Bawling like babies. It was it was a night that I will never forget. I remember coming home and just being so in awe. I couldn't sleep. I have not slept very well this week because the theatre makes me really excited. So when I get home, just like singing the songs in my head, listening to the soundtracks, and just reliving the experience of being there and witnessing such amazing talent. And I find it really hard to sleep. So that's the only downside of this week, is I haven't really slept. But yeah, Wicked was phenomenal. I saw was Frozen. So Frozen I had not seen before. And I knew that I was going to have some mixed feelings because I find it really annoying when people talk in the theatre. Like, I want to be taken to a different world, and I find that's really hard to do when people are kind of chatting behind you. And I knew that Frozen was going to be a little bit of an issue because there are so many kids that go to see Frozen. So you just kind of, I went in knowing, okay, like, you need to chill out a little bit, like, don't get upset. Like, the kids, this is maybe their first time ever in the theatre, like their first ever experience with live theatre. So I was like, just chill out, you're fine. But Frozen was incredible. The cast was fantastic. The guy that plays Prince Hans, Oliver Ormsson, this man was born to play a Disney prince. Please Google him, like, just look him up, Oliver Ormsson. He looks like a Disney prince, like, he looks like a cartoon, not a cartoon, like an animated prince. He has very, very large animated features, super chiseled jaw, like, he's got that prince hair. I feel like I'm not explaining this very well. When he came on stage, I was like, oh my God, there's an animated thing on stage. He was fantastic. Cast of Frozen was fantastic. I don't know who was playing little Anna, but she was phenomenal. I was like, oh my God, this girl is going to be so big in theatre one day. The actress that plays Anna, like Big Anna, was incredible. I'm trying to get everyone's names. Stephanie McKinnon. Oh, I feel like I've just butchered that. Stephanie McKinnon. I hope I've said that right. She was so good, vocally outstanding. Everyone was great. Like, I'm not gonna go into names. Everyone was great. And I had the pleasure of seeing, I think she's first cover Elsa. And I forget her name. Danielle something. I'll try put her name up on the screen. But she was amazing. And I just love when I get to go to the theatre and see understudies, alternates, covers. Like, it's just amazing because they are always so phenomenal, and they have such a hard job to do as well. Like, they have to know so many parts and be able to typically be in like the ensemble, and then be able to like know the lead role as well, like all the songs, the different harmonies, like blocking as well. So it's super impressive, and she was so good. And then Olaf was amazing. I think when Olaf came on stage, I was like, Olaf. So good. And it's an actor attached to like an Olaf puppet, and he moves around. He's attached to the puppet, so he moves around and he kind of maneuvers the puppet, and that was really impressive. And then Sven, I found out, I think during the intermission I googled it, because I was like, I think this is a person inside this. Is he a reindeer? I think he's a reindeer. Oh, I feel like I just got that so wrong. I think he's a reindeer, but there is a person inside the reindeer throughout the show, which I thought was so impressive, because I mean, I don't know how they do it, like maybe they're on all fours or something, but I thought that was really impressive. And then the thing that I really liked about Frozen was the sets were insane. Like, I think that's the most impressive thing about Frozen. And like, granted, they have like, they're Disney, so they have that, like, they have a ton of money basically to play with, but the sets were just so out of this world. They were insane. There's a bridge that's like covered in ice, and Anna and Kristoff get on that bridge, and the bridge is moving while they're moving, and it just goes on, and I'm like, how does this fit in the theater? Like, I was genuinely thinking, where have they, I don't know, like, where do they store this? This is massive. Like, it kept moving and it went on, and it was very confusing, but so that was really impressive. And then the other thing that I really liked about Frozen, and I thought this was like what I thought was really special, the reaction of the children. So like the kids' reactions to the magic. So at one point Elsa kind of like is about to take off a glove, and then the glove like flies to the side of the stage, and the little kids in the audience are like, like, they're just so like, they don't understand how it's happened. And that kind of iconic moment where she's singing Let It Go, and she's walking towards like center stage, and then her like old clothes, like, you know, just like the normal dress kind of gets ripped off her, and then she's wearing the like beautiful kind of iconic sparkly dress when she fully embraces her magic. And the reactions of the kids, like I was flanked by 2 children and their parents as well, and they were like their little eyes almost like popped out of their heads. Like it was really lovely to get to watch their reactions, and you know, they were so like enamored with the performance and what was going on. They just couldn't believe it, and that was really, really special. So Frozen was great. I feel like I'm gonna upset people for saying this. I wouldn't go again. I thought it was great. I thought it was brilliant. Like it was so well cast. The cast were amazing. Vocally, everyone was spot on. The sets were amazing. It's just not a production that I would be like, yeah, take me again. That I went to see in my 4 musicals in 4 days was Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cinderella. And I saw this in September 2021. It was another really special evening because it was the opening night of Cinderella. Now Cinderella already opened, but because of COVID they had to close, and then they opened again, and then they had to close, and they stayed closed while other West End productions opened up. And February the 3rd was the night that they opened back up. And I knew it was going to be a special performance. I was front row. I got spat on. People are gonna judge, but I was like, I got spat on. That sounds horrible. No, but I was really close, and like, I think I always like to experience like my favorite shows. I like to experience them from kind of the circle, dress circle, that kind of zone, and then come back and see them really, really close. I walked in and the energy was just out of this world. Everyone was so happy to be back. Came into the theatre, sat down, everyone was like in their seats, like super, super excited. And then, 7:30 hits, which is when the show's meant to start. And someone walks on stage and I just heard gasps, and I quickly looked. Andrew Lloyd Webber was standing on the stage with a mic, and I was like, oh. Walks to the center of the stage and gave a little speech to welcome the audience back and explain why the Cinderella production team took the decision not to open back up right away because of COVID, and they wanted to make sure that they had enough time to get the show ready to give the audience the show that they believe the audience deserves. He made a joke about Boris Johnson as well, which I thought was really funny. And then, he just welcomed us back to Belleville and wished us a really, really good show. So then the show started, and I was like, I think the opening 2 numbers are incredible. And just, there's so much going on. And because I was so close, I was like, oh my God, what's going on? But it was really, really special. Again, like, I loved being up close because I got to see things that I don't think I saw when I was further back the first time I went. And after the first number, I thought to myself, I was like, do you know what? I think this is, and this is a really big thing for me, I was like, I think this is a top 5 musical, which for me is a really big deal. But I just love it so much. And if you don't know kind of the idea of this version of Cinderella, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but she's a bad Cinderella. So she's not this kind of innocent individual who, is really like put together, given that she's Cinderella, but like really, put together and quite like a meek girl. She's very, very gothic. She's very outspoken. She doesn't really care what people think about her. And the songs are just so good. Like, you cannot help leave the theatre and be singing the songs. Like, they are so good. And Carrie Hope Fletcher is the epitome of perfection in that role. She is so, so good vocally. I mean, like, if you know musical theatre, I'm sure you know Carrie Hope Fletcher. Vocally, she's just absolutely flawless and outstanding. And the cast, each of them are so incredible. It is so well cast. Like, every single individual is perfect for the role that they are playing. They are so, so good. The Queen is phenomenal. The stepmother is just the funniest. She's such a comical cat. You can't hate her. Like, she's horrific, but you just love her and you laugh, and she's wow. And the Prince Sebastian, I think the actor that plays him, I'll put the names. I think his name's Ivano. I'm probably butchering that. I'll put his name on the screen. But he is so good. Again, vocally, perfection. And he's a really good dancer as well. So he has these moments where he breaks into dance, and the audience is left like, oh my God, this is amazing. The ball scene is incredible. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's watching this. I'm not going to spoil what happens, but something happens in the ball scene. And if you go and you sit in the stalls in rows A to G, I think, you're kind of part of the performance. I feel like I did a really bad job of explaining that, but like something really exciting and unexpected happens. And I knew that it was going to happen because I'd seen the show before, but the people around me didn't know. So they were like, oh, when it happened. And I was like, oh my God, I just love how excited everyone is. But it was such an incredible show. Like, again, the music is phenomenal. The cast was absolutely incredible. And it was such a special evening because you could tell during curtain call, you can tell how how much that moment meant to the cast to be back doing what they love on the stage, performing to a live audience. You could tell how much it meant to them. And yeah, it was just amazing. Like when everyone came and did their bows, I was like very, very close to them, and I was like, oh. Love you all. Yeah, so I absolutely love Cinderella. I will definitely be going back to Belleville. I genuinely think that if I could go to the theatre every single evening, I would. Oh, I have a musical theatre workshop. This is something. I have a musical theatre workshop on, when is it? In 2 weeks? No, it's not. It's in a week. It's next weekend. So I'm doing a musical theatre taster workshop next weekend. And I'm really, really nervous. I've never done anything like this, but I wanted to just challenge myself and see if I didn't just, I love singing. I'm always singing around the house, and like, I'm quite an animated person, I've been told. So I wanted to challenge myself and see like, would that be something that I would be interested in kind of pursuing, you know, outside of like work and stuff. They do like a 6 or a 7 week course, and at the end of that 6 to 7 weeks, you put on a performance and your friends and family can come, which I think is really, really cool. But I don't know if that's something that I would enjoy doing. I think it is, but I wanted to do a taster workshop just to see what it's like, and to see if it's something that I would want to pursue. And then if I like the workshop, then I said to myself that I would register for the course. I'm really, really, really nervous. I don't know what it's going to be like, and I haven't really been given very much information. I don't know if I will before the actual workshop. I'm really worried that like semi-professional people are going to show up and be like with their headshots and like have songs prepared, and I'm just like, can we do some scales? Just, you know, just practice some scales. So yeah, I don't really know, but once you do the 6 to 7 week course, you can then do specific productions. So they have one for Hamilton, they have one for Dear Evan Hansen, 2 of my favorite shows in my top 5. So I thought that was really cool. I was like, oh my God, to be in like an amateur version of any of those shows, like that would be amazing. So yeah, that is me. That's my first video that I have ever done. I'm not gonna lie, it is really weird talking to a camera on my own. Hopefully it's something that I'll get used to. I've always loved taking videos of things and taking photos. If you know me, then you know that like my phone is always out and I'm always like taking pictures of things. But yeah, this is just something that I thought would be fun to do. And yeah, would be interesting. I like watching stuff like this, so I thought, you know what, like I'm always at the theatre. People are always asking me questions about the theatre and my experience, so why not talk about it? But yeah, so that's my first video. I did it, yay, and I will see you next time.